I've probably picked one of the worst days I could to show you this. This is my bird feeder. Now, bird feeders. We need bird feeders in the garden for a couple of reasons. One is to feed our little feathered friends, like we all like to do. And two is because it gets the birds into your garden when you need them in your garden, to get them used to feeding off pests. So as summer comes and we reduce the amount we feed the birds, they naturally go to find pests in your garden. So if you've already got them coming in and you've already attracted them, then that's a good thing. Now, we've got this feeder here. I made this feeder myself. I've got an old weather vane there, which we put onto this top of this pole. I did the lead work on the top, and then I attached these. Dead easy to do. Oh, and then I made these little things myself, these little birdies. I just thought it was a nice... I think you can see them. Hang on, I've got the umbrella over me. There you go, those little birdies. I did those out of lead. So simply cut them out of some spare lead we had hanging around. So what do we feed them with? We feed them with the general feed. Bits of everything, which you can buy pre-made. It's kind of a wild feed. We use peanuts. Again, we use more general feed. We use the black Niger seed in the back one there. And then we use these, the fat balls. Now, how do you choose which one to use? Nobody really gives you any tips on this. Well, that's not true, really. I guess the RSPB do. We just chose these because we waited to see what sort of birds we had going on in this garden. And we felt that this was probably right for what we had visiting us. We get blackbirds coming in, we get sparrows, blue tits, long tits, goldfinch at the right time of the year, long-tailed tits, everything. We get loads, we get the usual. Now, the good thing is that what happens is if you get birds onto the fat balls like that and they start chomping it, it also drops down onto the ground. I can't show that at the minute because there's nothing there really. And it drops down onto the ground. And what happens then is the blackbirds get them. And then in the summer or spring, any hedgehogs that are passing past this area also get to come into it, and they also get some of the spoils of the meal table. Now, I just thought it was more interesting to try and feed and try and make something like this, rather than just buy the proprietary made little tacky little bird feeding stations. To be quite honest, are rubbish. And that's what I did, and I think I did quite a good job on this one. Now, what I've also done is, this is what you must do too. I've planted I've got several shrubs and trees around here, but I've planted this Acer Griseum here, the paperbark maple. This is planted here, so although it's spindly now, obviously, because it's winter, it will get leaves on in spring, summer, and then that's kind of somewhere for them to dart into should the old sparrowhawk fly in, of which there is one around here. I've also got Sorbus Joseph Rock here, Sorbus orchiperia. Sorry, it's not Joseph Rock. Go back on that. It's Sorbus orchiperia autumn spire, which is a thin, narrow one tree that grows up, so it'll grow quite tall next to it. And what'll happen then is that'll become a little resting place for the birds to sit in. One thing you must never do is put a bird box up near to a feeding station, i.e. there'd be no good me putting a bird box into this little section here, what I call the pill box. It's an arbour, an archway. No point, too close to it. All it does is it disturbs the birds when the other birds come in feeding and they get into a few squabbles. So you don't bother doing that, there's no point. What else can I tell you about this? Let's have a think. Obviously, height is quite important. I've got this the lowest one's about 4 foot, I'd say, and it goes to 5 or 6 foot up, which it's good enough for the birds, but gets them into your garden. And it's winter now, and we must look after the little birds, the little brown jobbies. We need to look after them, and we need to get them in the garden now, get them used to coming in now, and then by the time spring comes, when they will naturally go for better food, live food in your garden, they will be going in and finding all those pests that are trying to attack all your plants. So you've got sort of like a two-pronged attack at them then, which is really good. So I'm going to end now because it's absolutely pouring it down. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Got me flipping umbrella stuck. So that's what I've made myself. It looks great. I'll walk back up the garden before I finish just to show you what it looks like from up at the garden as well. So, you get a view of this thing all the time. Now, the shrub to the left is Cotinus. That's normally clothed in leaves, and then all the plants around are clothed in leaves. But generally, that's what you get to see. It's attractive. Does it? It attracts birds. It's good doing its job. Does what it says on the tin. Worth having the effort. Just, if you simply want to make something like that, just put yourself up a 4x4 bit of wood and nail some outposts for your feeders to sit onto. And it will work, and I can hear the birds already. I've just filled these feeders up, and I can hear them already. It sounds like a wren that's waiting to pop in, but I can assure you, as soon as I walk away from here, they'll be on it. And there was a blackbird. There you go, the bird just flew in front of it, then a blue tit. So I know within seconds these birds are going to be coming in. So we'll let them on with it because it's cold and wet. And I'll speak to you on the next one. Thanks for following me. Ta-ra.